All right, good morning. I want to take a second, and I want to bring everybody up to date on what's going on over here in Gold's Gym. The franchise owners of the Gold's Gym in Daytona Beach, Florida, own the Ormond Beach, Florida location also. And I'm told by somebody that actually worked in Ormond Beach that the saunas are as bad as the one here in Daytona Beach. And I want to take a second. I wanted to just point out that this is the website, right, for Gold's Gym, Daytona Beach, and their amenities. This is, you click the steam thing, steam sauna. First off, they don't have a steam room. It's just a sauna, right? And it does not look like this right here. You see this beautiful sauna, right? It does not look like that. This is what it actually looks like, right? And it is riddled with black mold, and it is everywhere. Let me just click through a couple of pictures here, and then I'm going to tell you how I reached out to, and I kid you, let me just read this off to you. I've reached out to the Attorney General, all right, Ashley Moody. I've reached out to the DBPR, the Department of Business Public Relations, right? I have reached out to the BBB and filed a complaint against corporate and against the local franchise owners. I've reached out to the Governor Ron DeSantis, the health department here in Daytona Beach, who actually told me, right, that there is no mandate across the state of Florida that allows them to go in here and test for mold, bacteria, and mildew that I believe has made me extremely sick and really has made probably a lot of other people sick inside this building. And it seems to me absolutely silly that this type of stuff can go on. And honestly, this is not like 1 month's worth of neglect. This is a year or more's worth of neglect. And I bet you dozens of people have reported this. I know at least one other person reported along with me. And really, at the end of the day, this cannot go this way, honestly. There needs to be a mandate in the state of Florida. This is a very humid state, and this is a very dark room. And honestly, keep in mind, again, that picture you saw of that sauna, it's not the same thing, right? This sauna here is smaller than the picture you saw of the nice one, right? And ultimately, no, it's like 60 to 80 square foot, and it's dark. It's dark. The light doesn't work at all. And really, it is so humid and dark and has human sweating in here that the mold has taken over the entire sauna. And honestly, I consider that the most dangerous thing I think I've ever encountered here in Florida. And honestly, I am shocked that no, I can't even get somebody to tell me to just go screw myself. At the end of the day, well, I did. I got that from the owners of Gold's Gym, more or less, and the manager there, who flat out came out and was trying to be intimidating. In fact, during my 8 days, I've been out there and I picketed at the front of the building like 5 or 6 times. And during that time, they've tried to have the Daytona 500 security like do something about me. And then they called Daytona Beach police, who came out and tried to intimidate me from 35 feet away. And so, Jakari Young, I don't know what to tell you, buddy, but I intend to picket the Gold's Gym until well after Thanksgiving this year. This type of stuff cannot happen anywhere in the country, and definitely not here in my backyard. Honestly, this is really, 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 really bad. And so let me just keep on going on. I want you to know the health department here in Daytona Beach, completely powerless to send somebody over, honestly, and swab or even do anything. Her suggestion to me was to call code enforcement at Daytona Beach, who, if you've had any experience with code enforcement here in Daytona Beach, they are even worse than anybody, honestly. That they're completely ineffective, and really it's just a money-making scheme. They're not worried about your safety or my safety, right? At the end of the day, they do a lot of dumb things that they're supposed to really be backing their electrical codes and their plumbing codes and stuff, but they really don't. At the end of the day, they're really just out there to make money. And honestly, I'm going to show you the emails here in a second, right? I also reached out to the FDACS, right? That's the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. They are now involved. Wait till you see their email. I think you're going to find that very funny also. I don't find any of it funny. At the end of the day, let's just go ahead and hop into it here. Let me just find the right tab, right? And again, let me just show you the advertised sauna here for Daytona Beach Gold's Gym. Not the same thing. Not the same thing, guys. Not the same thing. Not the same thing. And honestly, if I wish I had a picture of the entire room, it's half the size. This bench is not on that side. The bench is actually right here and right here, right? And then this is just a wall. And so it's much tinier. This looks like it's 130 square foot or more. Really, I'm telling you, 60 to 80 square foot is pretty much what I guesstimate. It's a 10 by 6, 10, maybe 12. Maybe it's 12 by 8, right? But no, really, it's not that big. It's dark. It's not lit up like this, right? It doesn't look beautiful. It looks like this, guys. It's horrible. And so keep in mind that this gym actually, it was reported, and I was told this by the guy when I came back for my second video to document the mold. The guy that was sitting in there, and I apologized to him. I said, dude, I've got to go and take these videos and swab this. I took a swab of the floor, which, I don't know if that's ever going to show me dick. At the end of the day, I'm not a professional, and that was a $9 Home Depot special kit. Okay? That's not how you test for dangerous bacteria and dangerous molds, right? So note that the company, all right, and I'm talking about Tyler. Tyler's the owner, the franchise owner of Gold's here in Daytona and Ormond Beach. They removed that bottom board right there. You see this? There was a board. This board, there was a board right here. They removed that well over a month ago and didn't even mop underneath the thing. That is downright criminal in my opinion. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to just show you here real quick. Again, another look at what they're advertising. Lit up, beautiful, clean. The wrong image altogether. It's not a steam room. It's just a dry sauna. It's not an infrared sauna. The thing is loaded with bacteria and mold. All right? And so, let's hop into it. Complaint to the FDACS, right? Case number 2408-01846. And whatever else that is. CRM 0543100. Yay. And so, honestly, just about worthless here. All right? My complaint was submitted, and they're going to mail it to or send it or email it to the gym. Hey, I've already contacted the Better Business Bureau and sent out that to them, and that was done last Friday. Honestly, no. This is going to be completely ineffective, and honestly, if they choose to answer or something, you can kind of read through this if you want. If they choose to answer, it'll be put on file. If they choose not to answer, it'll just be put on file that they chose not to answer, which is about what I'm going to get with the Better Business Bureau. I'm sure they're not going to answer that either. And so Gold's Corporate, I don't know what you guys are doing. RSG Group of gyms and fitness centers, I don't know what you guys are doing. And honestly, if there's a sauna out here that's in LA Fitness or Crunch or any one of these other gyms that is a little level up from the regular basic gyms, consider that the sauna is probably the most dangerous place in that building. And you very well could end up with all kinds of problems. I've been sick, really. I would say I only joined this gym like 2.5 months ago. I've been sick since about the third week into my membership there, and it's just slowly and progressively getting worse. And even though I've been out of this gym 8 days, I'm still not feeling well. I have all kinds of digestive, like stomach issues and stuff that all have to do with black mold poisoning. And so just try to get your doctor to order the right test. Honestly, I'm doing business with a doctor called Afferman over here in South Daytona. I consider them the most incompetent doctor I've ever met in my life. And honestly, I've been extremely healthy. I don't know if you see me. I'm pretty healthy. There's my blood. Okay, again today. That's 2 times in the last week I've been pricked and had 3 tubes of blood taken from me. Not okay, Gold's Gym. Not okay. And honestly, this is going to be worthless. The Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Mr. Wilton Simpson, completely. This is going to be worthless effort here. So let's just hop on. I'll just show you. Let me just show you who else I contacted. Here's Ron DeSantis, our governor. He passed the buck. All right? He totally passed the buck off to the Ag Department. Hey, I appreciate that. But that's not why I reached out to you, Mr. Governor. Ultimately, everybody underneath you here in the state of Florida is failing. It's failing me. It's failing. I am telling you, there are at least, I would say, up to 100 people or more that are sick or have some kind of symptoms. And really, everybody should be getting tested. Everybody should be getting tested. The building should be tested by, I would say, at this point, you're going to have to get me 2 mold remediation companies. I want 2 certified people to tell me that I'm full of shit. Honestly, I'm telling you. This is poisonous. This is extremely poisonous. It causes a slew of illnesses. And at the end of this, I'm going to read the list of illnesses that this type of negligence, gross negligence, causes within healthy people. And if you're somebody that's got an immune system kind of problem, you've been sitting in this sauna, you're going to freaking die. I don't want to be dramatic here, but I feel so bad after just 5 or 6 weeks, 2.5 months, but really 5 or 6 weeks, I've been just slowly getting worse. And at the end of the day, if you're somebody that has been in that sauna, you need to go get tested. This is seriously going to mess your entire life up. And so and it is inexcusable for Gold's Gym. I joined Gold's Gym because it's supposed to be an elite gym. Honestly, absolutely, just sorry. Sorry. And so, what do we have here? Here's another one that I filed, and this one here, I mentioned that I called the Florida Daytona Beach branch of the health department. And the lady was like, hey, there's no mandate, there's no rules for saunas. There's something that had to do with gyms, and that was the DBPR, right? And the only thing they have is to send a letter to the owners, and that's all they can do. At the end of the day, I don't know what to tell you, Mr. Ron DeSantis. Your team has failed. Your team has failed. Totally failed. And so here we go. I actually, after hanging up the phone with the health department, I was just shocked. I immediately reached out to Daytona Beach Code Enforcement, which I think is just a joke, really. I had problems with them a couple years back where they allowed a company here to hook up a new HVAC system, and they hooked it up with the wrong heat coil, all right? They had, when I had it privately inspected, there was like 15 major violations. And Code Enforcement came out. All they did was verify that the report I submitted was correct. They never, ever, they sent a letter off asking nicely that somebody fix the problems. And honestly, I fought a certain company for 9 months. 9 months. They hooked up the wrong wire. They hooked up the wrong wire, the electrical wire, all right, to the wrong breaker. The breaker was too powerful for the wire that they hooked up to the breaker and connected to the HVAC system, outside the building, right? That literally had the wrong, it was pulling like a 7-watt heating coil. And so we were told by the inspector, by when we hired and paid $3,000 to, that the thing was completely dangerous and was going to burn the building down. And even though that was cited in the very first paragraph, Code Enforcement did nothing. Nothing. And so powerless. And so here we go. Mr. Sykes Denzel, right? He is the officer that was supposed to go out there. He was notified Monday morning. I immediately sent him pictures, links to the video so he could actually get up to par, right? And you can just, imagine that, here, it is Friday. Look, Friday. It's Friday, August 16th, 2024. I haven't even heard from Code Enforcement. They haven't even responded to my email. I didn't even get anything back from this company. Nothing. Zero zilch. All right, hey, let's move on. Here's something I found interesting. Here's something from the governor, DeSantis, talking about how, all these things are out to protect Floridians, right? And make us healthy. State Surgeon General, Dr. Joseph A. Ladapo. Hey, honestly, sir, you might want to mention something to the governor about mold. Toxic mold in public places. There needs to be some kind of something. Honestly, I'm going to create a petition, and I have done this before. I rarely get anybody even sign the damn thing. But if you're somebody that is hearing what I'm saying, all right, there's a lot of elderly here that can't defend themselves, and honestly, it seems like I'm in over my head here. But I'm going to promise, I'm going to be out there picketing off and on right on through Thanksgiving if that's what it takes. If I can't get somebody involved in creating some kind of something to protect the citizens of this county and this state in relation to sauna mold, and really not just sauna mold, but just mold. There has to be a mandate for mold, and honestly, it has to be a mandate that allows somebody like Code Enforcement or the health department to come in and immediately swab and test certain areas of public spaces that we commonly share. And so, again, this is my final email. The Attorney General of Florida, all right, Mrs. Ashley Moody, she helped me out. She actually directed us pretty good when we had my problem with that other company that illegally hooked up, bad electrical and everything. But, honestly, I'm shocked that all she did was pass it off to, who did she pass it off to? The DAC, Department of Florida Department of Ag and Consumer Services. And so, yeah, she passed the buck. Ron DeSantis passed the buck. It looks like the Ag Department's going to be passing the buck here because they're not effective. They're not effective at all. They're going to send a letter. They're going to send a letter to Gold's Gym and get their, maybe, they don't even have to legally respond. Nice, guys. Really nice, honestly. Health Department, complete failure. Code Enforcement, complete failure. And I'm proud to say, you guys failed. You failed, and you're failing the citizens of this county and this state. And that's my opinion. And so, I guess we're going to wrap this up. First, I'll just show you that nice, beautiful gym that they're advertising here. All right, beautiful sauna that they're advertising here. The nice lights, and it just, oh, wow, that looks beautiful. I'd actually want to hang out in there. But really, now note, what you're seeing here, this room is dark. The light doesn't even work inside the room. To my knowledge, I've never seen it on. I think there's a single light bulb in the corner. Never seen it on. The thing's always dark, and it's dark because it looks like this. Really. That is just absolutely amazing. Isn't it? Isn't it? It's just amazing. All right, so I'm going to pause the video here, and I wanted to cover one more thing, and then I'll let you all go. I appreciate any likes or shares on this matter. Honestly, Gold's Gym has just totally not reached out, and that's unacceptable. All right, hang on. All right, welcome back. And my final thoughts here are going to be really directed towards these two men here, Mr. Danny Wagoneer and Mr. Brian Warren, the CEOs of Gold's Gym. And really, they're located in Dallas, Texas here. Feel free to reach out to them. Yeah, really a shame that the RSG group here hasn't taken some kind of action. At the end of the day, this is extremely bad. And honestly, I personally sent a BBB request to these guys. These guys have probably just got notified by the DBPR, right? And I made a video that is directed to them directly, all right, and shows this stuff. And I emailed that to them directly. And I reached out to them on LinkedIn, at least this guy right here, Mr. Warren. And so totally ghosted by this company. And so now I guess I'm stuck picketing. And ultimately, if I've got to do it myself to get some kind of attention on this, I'm just going to have to do it myself. I'm in the process of having a slew of medical tests done. They literally just did some liver tests, right? They pulled blood to do liver tests. And ultimately, it looks like I'm going to have to go wait to see a nose, ear, and throat person here in Daytona that's going to hopefully tell me a little bit more about what's going on with my throat and my lungs. And ultimately, they were talking about doing some kind of saline. I could dump saline into my lungs, had me jump up and down a little bit, and spin me around in circles, and then extract that liquid so they could test it. Honestly, you gentlemen should both be fired. Honestly, if you're not reaching out to me and on an airplane here like this week coming up, honestly, RSG Group, it's time for some new management, some new leadership. These men need to go. They've totally failed your organization. I don't know what you're paying them. Hire me. Hire me. I'm passionate. I'll get it done. I'll make sure your company actually doesn't do this type of shit. And ignore your member and consumer. We're going to end with that one right there. That is just beautiful, guys. Just beautiful. Let's zoom in. That is beautiful. Hey, if you're as upset as I am, please consider... I'm going to have to create a petition, and then I'm going to have to create a Facebook group. And so we're going to head down that dark path, I guess. I'm just, before this ends up killing me, because even my doctor doesn't understand mold. And so I've got to go find a specialist. And here in Florida, it takes forever to get a doctor. Honestly, it looks like it's going to be 2 months waiting to get in to see this specialist. And if I keep getting sicker, I might have to fly out to Texas and pick it in front of Mr. Warren's, location, wherever his corporate office is. Honestly, RSG Group, please get involved immediately. I'm getting very impatient. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, share, and tell a friend. If you are somebody that is around that gym up there in Ormond Beach or Daytona Beach, and you're like a manager or something, you should come forth. Honestly, before this is over, I'm going to be hopefully getting some kind of criminal charges. This is extreme neglect. You guys are actually been warned that you're poisoning people, and every day that you let somebody into those areas, you're endangering their lives and their families' lives and their future here in Florida. That is criminal. And so, really, Tyler, you low integrity piece of shit, little man, you best be doing something quick, because I'll be out there again today picketing the front of your business there in Daytona Beach. You are an evil man that has absolutely ignored me and ghosted me. And Brian Warren, I'm going to get very impatient with you, sir. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time and your consideration on this matter. and sign the petition, join the Facebook group, and please reach out to Mr. Ron DeSantis and let him know that Floridians deserve some kind of mold mandate, because this is a very humid like place in our country, and in a dark little confined space like this, it's more than dangerous. All right, thank you for your time and your consideration. Have a great day. All right, so I wanted to finish up this video with a special thank you. Honestly, my local doctor, my physician actually totally failed at all this, ordered the wrong tests, and ultimately, if it wasn't for a Facebook group that I reached out to that had like tens of thousands of people in it, and I believe it is Katie that directly answered me. She took the time amongst a huge group. I think they got 50,000 members that are following this whole mold thing, and I'm going to link to their group here in the bottom. You'll have to join and get be accepted and all that. But I want to take a second and personally thank Katie. Katie, honestly, if it wasn't for your information, I would be even more freaking out, and totally, I've been shocked by this whole thing, and so I very much appreciate you, and honestly, you helped me get the doctor to order the right testing, which I think I got done this morning. Pricked twice here in the last 8 days, and really, I appreciate everything. And so I definitely want to mention that you have a nice podcast. People could tune in and see these few episodes on detoxing and getting your health back should you have been exposed by mold, either at a gym or at home or anywhere on the planet. And so what really impressed me was this article right here, and I'm definitely going to link to this and try to give it some light. It was very, very enlightening. It talked about the major molds, and I believe there's something like 1,000 kinds of mold. I forget where I saw that, but I really enjoyed this. And really, the whole thing's about not really so much about mold, but it's about mycotoxins. Mold being the gun and mycotoxin being the bullet. That's the stuff that's floating around, the spores in the air that you actually inhale, right? And here's another doctor that says, that obviously knows something better than Afferman over here in South Daytona. And so, I said I was going to read a list of all of the, symptoms and stuff that could be related to mold. And you're here in Florida, so consider, there's mold everywhere. But in a small 60 square foot area that's heated and is dark and is never cleaned outside of a mop in the main floor area, honestly, I would say that is the biggest breeding ground of bacteria, mold, and mildew that I've ever seen in my life. It has definitely made me sick. It is definitely making other people sick. And so, list, fatigue, elevated cholesterol, yeast infections, oral, nasal, and vaginal, excessive thirst, excessive urination, coughing and wheezing, congestion, red eyes, difficulty conceiving, I don't have that, miscarriages, shortness of breath, right? Headaches, hair loss, hair shedding, joint pain, memory problems and brain fog, dizziness, sinus infections, sensitivity to light or sense, skin rashes, mast cell issues, right? That's got to be cancer, right? Digestive problems. There's what I feel so bloated from whatever the hell's going on here. Not to mention the lung issues, the throat, and the ear issues that I'm having. But generally, no, I can't even eat a sandwich without feeling like I just came out of the buffet. It's actually the weirdest thing. I'm normally really, 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 in good health. And this is completely not okay. Unintentional weight gain. Okay, I'm actually going the other way. I seem to be losing weight, but I think that's because I'm not able to eat and I don't feel good generally physically, and so inflamed or inflammation, right? And I believe there's a whole nother stuff here. Mold toxicity downstream. Okay, it leads to ADHD, ADD, depression, anxiety, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, asthma, infertility, overweight, obese, POTS, and something, dysautonomia, sinus infections, chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS. Honestly, Golds, what are you guys doing? I'm going to link to all this, and I will share this all to you. And though, here's what I really found interesting. This is what set it all right for me, because I need to get a urine test, and this this other thing, this serum antibody testing. So again, I had to write an entire letter to my doctor who really did not know. He didn't know. He didn't know. This is the test he originally ordered right here, right? And really, he needed to order these other tests. And I know some of these are ridiculous. You know, I think there's a DNA test in here or something. I don't know where to get that, and I doubt my insurance is going to cover it. But Gold, you should be covering all this. At the end of the day, this is not acceptable, and neither is all of this. Honestly, this is not acceptable. Okay, so please like, share, tell a friend. If you've been in this gym or you're in any sauna anywhere, make sure you take your camera and you take pictures of the bench underneath the bench, right? And honestly, Gold's Gym, you guys need to reach out to me immediately. This is not acceptable. You got black mold growing everywhere in this thing, and a simple mopping is not going to make it go away. All right, thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate your time and consideration on this matter. Thank you.